Standing here at Lazy River Markets, and it was quite lucky. I ran into Gary Rush. Now, Gary Rush used to be the mayor of Bathurst, and during my time as mayor, I think you were probably mayor for almost all the time I was mayor. I think you started mayor as 2012?
2013.
2013, sorry. So I had a little bit of time as mayor before Gary came along, and then I dealt with you during that time. So great to see you here at the markets. Good to see people from Bathurst coming over to Dubbo. We did have the famous poetry rivalry where John Davis got involved as well.
Yes.
So it's good to see you come over and visit Dubbo. So what are you doing here at the markets? Just coming and injecting some money into our economy?
Well, it's interesting you say about the rivalry, and Matt, that's what I have to say. I remember very fondly the polite rivalry that existed between Bathurst and Dubbo and Orange. And of course, we're always competing with who had the best infrastructure. And I guess it was a measurement of a mayor, wasn't it? To see what you could progress towards, to see what you could create for people, and therefore not only create for the locals, but create the interest in people actually visiting. So to answer your question, I'm here today, checking out this fabulous market, very admiring of the infrastructure that is here in Dubbo. And being a former mayor myself, I know, the influence mayors can have on all of that. And I know particularly, the influence that you had on this city while you were mayor. And, I guess I've never taken the opportunity before, when I was mayor of Bathurst, because I couldn't give away too much. But congratulations to you, Matt, on what you did achieve for the people of Bathurst.
Thank you.
And I'm sure that if you make it into state politics, I know you will bring the same passion to start off with, the same knowledge, the same love of Dubbo that you have. And of course, you have always been progressive. So I think that Dubbo won't miss out on anything. As a matter of fact, there would be good gain in having somebody with your experience representing this electorate in Macquarie Street.
Yeah, thank you. And we certainly had some things to do with each other with Evo Cities. Evo Cities was very strong back when we were both mayors, and I think Evo Cities was a great program. Unfortunately, the state government's still giving no money to Evo Cities, so that's a great shame. But I think that the councils are they're pulling the weight there, I suppose, is the real issue there.
Yeah.
And of course, Bathurst got on board with the Evo Cities mountain bike series.
Yeah.
They got right on board there, and that was a great promotion for Evo Cities and the various cities that we had as part of that. So again, you were on board there, you saw the value of that, and jumped on board straight away with that.
Yeah, well, it was a great program, and it was a really good example of communities, regional communities prepared to help themselves, doing the work that was required, collaborating with other regions, because as we know, if Bathurst does well, Orange does well, Dubbo does well. That's with regard to the visitor economy, but just across the board, and the sharing that we had going on as a result of being, participants in the Inland Forum, in the Evo Cities campaign, was of great benefit to each of those significant regional centres. Because I think that, one thing that, you'd be aware of, just like I'm aware of, when you're mayor, you come to that role with some ideas yourself, and I'm sure you've got some, entering into state parliament. But you also go there with the view of listening to people and actually trying to learn from others. And why reinvent the wheel if it's already been created? So over that period of time, I know that I learned a lot from our involvement in those cities. I learned a lot from you personally. And I think the regional centres benefit as a result of that collaboration.
Yeah, and I think it is good where those cities do work together. That rivalry you talked about there is fun from an external perspective, but it really is about sharing and realising that we're all in it together. Regional New South Wales is in it together. That's the critical part there. It's not about Bathurst getting something and Dubbo missing out. It's about regional benefiting from what the state government has in terms of unprecedented funds at the moment.
Yeah, well, that's right. And as we know, we share the common pursuits. It's always a matter of trying to develop the scale and the capacity of infrastructure and services and amenity in each of these regional centres. And as you rightfully say, it's not a competition between, but we do understand one another from that perspective. We know what it's like to pitch a case. We know what it's like to be desirous of that sort of service, amenity and infrastructure. And that's very critical, of course, in encouraging people to invest in regional centres like Dubbo, to work in, to move and work. It's all very critical, and while sometimes it seems a hard slog, when it does happen, and when it becomes productive, it's clearly very rewarding. And I know that you would have had many rewarding days, because as I mentioned before, and I'm not just saying this for the purpose of this interview, it may seem like that, but you were very progressive, Matt, and you always, you were very passionate about Dubbo, and you always had the interests of Dubbo paramount
Oh, thank you.
in your mind.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate that. Good to see you here, Gary. Great to see people coming from other regions and injecting money into the local economy. I hope you've bought. Well, you're not holding anything, Gary. You haven't bought enough stuff. Get back out there and keep buying some things.
Yeah, well, I will do.
Yeah, right. Well done on your time as mayor, and it is good to see people from my past life as mayor, and it's great to catch up on some of those old times. So thanks, Gary, for coming
Yeah,
along.
good to see you, mate.